Tom Aspinall's situation since winning the interim heavyweight championship has been anything but calm. You'd expect the attention to center around his rise, his talent, and the much-anticipated matchup with Jon Jones, but instead he's been dealing with unexpected criticism even from Conor McGregor. That's right, instead of standing behind his fellow UK-based fighter, Conor McGregor took jabs at Aspinall on social media, all over a completely harmless comment.
Weird, because I don't really know Conor at all. I've never even met the guy. Never had any beef with him or anything, and the whole situation came on a little bit weird. So my friend started a YouTube channel, right? Because he's my friend, he came down the gym and interviewed me, and I did it because he's my friend. He doesn't have loads of numbers on his, doesn't have loads of followers or loads of subscribers or anything like that. So it's a pretty small interview, and he asked me about McGregor. Are you looking forward to McGregor's next fight? Blah, blah, blah. And I said, oh, to be honest, I'm not really that interested in Conor McGregor. Not because Mate, I only really watch the heavyweights and bigger guys. I'm not as interested in the small. I just meant it like that. Next minute, he's fucking sending me death threat. Loads of tweet. I'm like,
it all started when Aspinall mentioned during an interview that lately he hasn't really been paying attention to Conor's behavior, not out of disrespect, but because he's completely locked in on training and watching heavyweight bouts. Simple, honest, nothing even remotely controversial, but Conor didn't take it that way. He fired off tweets suggesting Aspinall was being disrespectful, trying to use his name for attention, and made it crystal clear he wasn't happy with the comment, twisting it into something it obviously wasn't meant to be. That's when Aspinall showed up on Piers Morgan and finally responded to all the drama.
What about Conor McGregor? He's been very scathing of you on social media, taken you on a few times. What do you feel about him?
I don't know Conor McGregor. I've never met him. I don't know why he chooses to do that.
2023, you said that you were over the Conor McGregor hype train, and he took to Twitter, as it was then, and said, "Say sayonara to that, GK, Jim King, deal kid. Starve you and kill you. I will, you effing disrespectful prick. Don't ever speak my name in disrespect again. Mashed potato head."
Yeah, I mean, he's not wrong about the head. The head is quite potato shaped. I'm alright with that. But I don't know why he's so offended. I just said I'm not.
Have you met him?
No, I've never met him.
What would happen if you met him?
Nothing against him. Nothing. Unless.
I mean, you're massively big.
I'm not interested.
Really?
Yeah.
Calmly shutting it down and reminding everyone that his focus is on one thing right now: becoming the undisputed UFC heavyweight champion.
UFC is about one guy being the champion of each division. I defended the interim once already. It's almost unheard of that. It's unprecedented. I thought it was silly the first time, to be honest. The reason that I did it, the first time I fought Curtis Blades, it went down as a loss. I got injured. Worst moment of my career, one of the worst moments of my life. I wanted to redeem myself and get the legit victory against Curtis Blades because it was unfinished business. Like, that was hurting my ego, and I wanted to prove that I was better than Blades, which I did in the rematch, and I defended the interim. Something else, that particular fight was in Manchester, in my hometown. I wanted to fight in my hometown. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to do that again in front of a sold-out, brand new Co-op Live arena in Manchester, England. I don't know if I'm ever going to have the opportunity to do that again. So for them two reasons, that's why I defended the interim. I'm not doing it again. Like, I've cleared out the rest of the division, undisputed, and that's it. I deserve a shot at being known as the best heavyweight walking around on planet Earth. Doesn't matter on the opponent, undisputed.
Now you'd think Conor, someone who knows exactly what it's like to deal with the pressure of a high-stakes fight build-up, would support Aspinall as he prepares for what might be the biggest fight of his career.
Would pick Conor McGregor up like a shopping bag with one arm. He is so small compared to me. And I know his fans are going to think he's like Superman or whatever, but they've got weight classes for a reason, bro. I'm more than twice the size of this man. And look, if you want to do a charity fight, anything, MMA, boxing, I don't really give a shit because I'm literally a giant compared to you. We'll donate the money to burns victims. How about that? Anytime, anywhere, any place. I really don't care. Someone needs to shut that hole in your
especially with a possible showdown against Jon Jones on the horizon. But it turns out it's not just Conor who stayed distant. Other UK fighters have surprisingly taken similar positions. Paddy Pimblett, for instance, recently said he thinks Jon Jones would beat Aspinall, siding with the American GOAT instead of backing the rising British star.
I think the Aspinall-Jones fight happens?
It's got to happen. I was sitting next to Tom the other week at the UFC in London and talking to him about it.
How do you think that plays out? If they fight?
I'll be honest, Tom's a friend. I love Tom. He's one of the coolest dudes in the whole of MMA. Even though Jones is getting old, I just can't pick against Jon Jones. The one thing I do think Jon Jones has got the best in the world and the best ever is his fight IQ. He has a perfect game plan to beat that person. As much as I love Tom and I want Tom to win, I couldn't pick against Jon Jones. It's just something I couldn't.
It's a strange situation, one that's left fans wondering where the true loyalty in the UK MMA scene really stands, but while some fighters might be holding back, a huge portion of the MMA world has made their stance loud and clear. Tom Aspinall is the future of the heavyweight division, and if that fight with Jon Jones actually goes down, plenty of people believe Jones could be in real danger.
He's elite as a heavyweight. A lot of the heavyweights, they're good, they're very strong, they're powerful, but they're not as quick and as agile and as technical as Tom. Tom's the whole package. You know, he's like, there's a fighter called George St. Pierre, who's one of the greatest to ever do it. Tom's like a heavyweight George St. Pierre. He's got no weak areas. He's got absolute knockout power, super disciplined, super agile on the feet. He finishes everyone really, really quickly. However, he hasn't gone up against somebody like Jon Jones because, as I said, the competition in the heavyweight division isn't necessarily there on a technical level. Jon Jones is, and Jon Jones has fought way better competition than Tom. That's just a fact. But Jon's never fought anyone like Tom either. Jon has never fought anyone the size of Tom, and that can generate that kind of power. He had two heavyweight fights, one against Cyril Garner, who took him down really quick and choked him out. And then he went up against Stipe Miocic. He was really good, and you know, he had a good little goal. But he was 42, and he hadn't fought for a while, and he's getting on. Tom's 31, in the prime of his life. And I would be very surprised, and this sounds disrespectful, but I'd be very surprised if he got out the first round.
He's top tier as a heavyweight. A lot of the guys in that division are solid. They're strong and powerful, but they're not as fast, as agile, or as technically sharp as Tom. Tom's the complete package. He's kind of like the heavyweight version of Georges St. Pierre, who's considered one of the greatest ever. Tom doesn't have any weak spots. He's got serious knockout power. He's extremely disciplined, super quick on his feet, and he finishes opponents fast, but he hasn't faced someone like Jon Jones yet. Because to be honest, the technical level of competition in the heavyweight division isn't all that high. Jon Jones is different, and he's gone up against much tougher opponents than Tom has. That's just the truth, but at the same time, Jon's never faced someone like Tom either. Jon's never been in the cage with a guy Tom's size who can hit that hard. Jon's had two heavyweight fights, one against Cyril Gane where he took him down quickly and choked him out, and then he was supposed to face Stipe Miocic, who's a great fighter, but he's 42, hadn't fought in a while, and clearly past his prime. Tom's 31, in the peak of his career, and honestly, and I don't mean this to be disrespectful, but I'd be shocked if Jon made it out of the first round.
Who's next big heavyweight star?
Tom Aspinall, the guy who just won the interim title. He's phenomenal. And he is, again, the next the next advancement of the evolution of the sport.
How so?
Well, because he can do everything. That guy's got elite jiu-jitsu. He's got elite takedowns. His striking is outstanding. Like, I've seen a lot of heavyweight. Even Francis, who's like the greatest, scariest power striker I've ever seen in the heavyweight division. No one's scarier than Francis. Francis does not move like Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall is significantly faster than every other heavyweight. That's a real problem. Because he's a heavyweight, and he's a big guy, a really big guy, but he moves so fast. And so his speed has always been like extraordinary compared to other heavyweights. Like, he just moves in. It's all like fast, explosive movements. So he's got natural speed, but then he's also got a lot of training to execute quickly. So when he moves in, he closes the gap. You can see, like, he's fast for a big guy.
Right. I want to see it so bad.
Jon was shitting all over Aspinall. Saying that
I think that's a bad way to go.
He was lucky that he blew his knee out with Curtis Blades because Curtis was teeing off
doing
on him.
well.
Unless Jon avoided him, unless Jon used his wrestling to avoid exchanges, you know what that's all about.
Correct. It's called the Shop Shutdown.
The Shop Shutdown.
I saw a 7-part series on
Cyborg.
it. Yes. The Stipe fight, which is just like, it's a weird thing.
Aspinall's an athlete, man. He's such a good athlete.
Freak athlete.
Very fast. Very fast for a heavyweight.
So fast.
Yeah, we felt the same way about Cyril Gane.
Yeah.
But Cyril Gane doesn't have wrestling. Doesn't have jiu-jitsu. Aspinall's like legit on the ground. Very legit on the ground.
So legit that his dad owned a jiu-jitsu gym. His dad's a black belt. He started doing jiu-jitsu at 2.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how Aspinall is past the first round, right? Because we've seen him. He looks so fast. He looks, you're like, nobody moves like him. He looks like a younger Kane.
Right.
But he just keeps knocking these guys out so quick. So I'm like, let me see him past the first round to see if he has that cardio as well.
It's a bit of a problem for him, right? Because he has not been tested in that way.
Because stylistically Tom is a nightmare matchup. He's fast, technical, explosive, he moves like a middleweight, has knockout power in both hands, and can hold his own on the ground. On top of that, he stays calm under pressure and has a habit of finishing fights early, making him a heavyweight contender who looks more dangerous every time he steps into the octagon. Jon Jones still wears the crown, no doubt. He's a strategic mastermind, a seasoned veteran of championship rounds, a fighter who's adapted, evolved, and figured out how to beat every style he's faced, but he's also been inactive. He's dealing with injuries, and he's never faced a threat quite like Tom Aspinall, not at this size, speed, or technical level ever.
I bet if he's weighing 215, he would fight Tom Aspinall better than him weighing 245 pounds. In his 205 frame, he could fight Tom Aspinall better than he'd fight him at that 250 because that's not his weight class. While he didn't last long with Cyril, he didn't look as fast. He carried more weight. Cyril just did some weird stuff. And John, you don't make mistakes.
Others think Aspinall's youth, sharpness, and momentum would be overwhelming, and that Jones wouldn't last past 2 rounds with all the delays, the politics, and the uncertainty about whether this fight will even happen. Fans are getting louder than ever. They're fed up with waiting, tired of seeing the interim champ on the sidelines, and tired of watching one of the most anticipated matchups in recent UFC history remain unresolved. So while Tom Aspinall keeps training, stays patient, and handles media digs with grace, the pressure is mounting, because when the cage finally closes, whether it's Jon Jones standing across from him or not, Aspinall's moment is coming and the world will be watching.